What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I got some new news for you concerning Canelo Alvarez and his possible matchup with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. It is negotiated that these two are possibly to fight March or April of next year at a catch weight of 164 pounds. Now, I understand a lot of people, you know, you got the Canelo fans out there, you got the would-be fans of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., which he lost a lot of fans lately. Actually, both of them lost a lot of fans due to their actions inside the ring and outside the ring. But you got a 164-pound catch weight fight possibly early next year, first quarter of next year. And that fight is negotiated quickly, you know, and it's just strange how you can be at a 155 at your own weight, being Canelo Alvarez, and bypass 160 altogether with all the talent that's at 160, you know. Not alone Golovkin's at 160, which is the middleweight, you know, monster at that division, which everyone's supposed to fight. And, you know, and Canelo Alvarez was, you know, was saying that, hey, yes, that was going to be the next fight. He fights Liam Smith, and it's like, okay, you fight Liam Smith, so you fight the weakest link of the 154-pound division, you know, and then you totally jump over a weight class to another catch weight, you know. So I guess it doesn't matter how much you weigh, it's as long as it's a catch weight, you know. And it's crazy because now you know by default that you duck Golovkin. That's it. I mean, you had to duck Golovkin. You wouldn't go to 164 to fight, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Why would you do that? That guy's like 190. You know, he walks around at like 190. You want him to come down 164 pounds. I don't see it. But it's a trip, you know. But it just shows that this fight is so easily negotiated. But you do all these leaps, hurdles, and jumping through rings of fire when it comes to Golovkin. And offering Golovkin a flat rate of $10 million, knowing the revenue of that, what that's going to produce, and blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm not a middleweight, blah, blah, blah. But now I'm halfway between a middleweight and a super middleweight at a 164 catch weight. It makes no sense to me at all. And the Canelo Alvarez fans will find some type of way to defend it, which I just had another run-in with a Canelo fan when I was discussing the Charlo's possible fight with Canelo, which Charlo's would be a much better fight, either one, Jermell or Jamal. Be better than any of the fighters. Any of those fighters would be better than Liam Smith. Okay, Liam Smith was the guy, like I said, was the weakest link. And you know, and a Canelo fan, man, they're crazy, man. They, you know, this guy told me, hey, yeah, you know, bitch, you know, another dumb nigga or whatever. And I'm like, dude, obviously you didn't even read the video, because the video didn't say anything about the Charlos beating Canelo at all. And in fact, I don't even think the Charlos could beat Canelo Alvarez. You know, one would do significantly better than the other one or whatever, but they would still lose. However, the point I'm trying to make here, guys, is the fact that the Canelo fans will defend their boy. Will defend their boy. You know, and it's like, okay, well, you know, you're defending your boy. You know, he can fight Julio Cesar Chavez at any damn weight negotiated over 160, but can't make the fight that everyone wants to see. He's buying time, you know. But I think that's been Canelo or Canelo's handlers' plan all along, you know. Because you forget, when Canelo Alvarez started, he was fighting guys, you know, he fought Cotto, Miguel Cotto's brother. Fought guys like Mosley, you know, and he fought Mosley in 2012. But he fought these guys under the assumption that, well, under the obvious fact that these guys were old. These guys were older. So, you know, everyone's saying that, hey, look for, and including Oscar De La Hoya, look for the Golovkin-Canelo fight. You know, I don't know if the fight will happen. You know, I think that might be pushed back to mid-2018. By that time, that puts Golovkin at 36 years of age. You know, De La Hoya's done it. He done it against Julio Cesar Chavez. I saw the sparring tapes. Chavez dropped De La Hoya. De La Hoya was quick. He was fast. He was using angles. He was using that jab, that power hook, you know, and he was combinating with the right hand. But he could not handle the power of Julio Cesar Chavez, because at the time Chavez was still witty. He was still, you know, he was still at himself. You know, he could still compete with the level that he was competing on. However, when they fought, it was a significant amount of time from the time they sparred to the time they fought. The comparison is Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin. You know, and supposedly Gennady Golovkin, because it's not filmed. I don't know who, and if it is filmed, it hasn't been leaked. But, you know, I did read the articles, and what I read, I was told that Golovkin walked through a lot of Canelo's punches. Canelo was able to counter Golovkin, but Golovkin walked through him. Like, that wasn't enough. And I speculate, let's say that, because I don't know for a fact, okay, my opinion. I speculate that the reason why Canelo Alvarez doesn't want to get in there with Gennady Golovkin, because he's tasted that power. You know, and I'd be damned he's going to taste power without having some headgear on, some protection, okay? You know, because in that article that was explained about the sparring session that Canelo and Golovkin had, Golovkin, man, was catching Alvarez with straight rights, and you know, and his legs start stiffening up. You know, as the reporter that was writing about, well, the writer that was writing about their encounter in the ring, and you know, and I think that concerns Canelo. You know, I think Canelo would fight him, but it has to be at some kind of edge. You know, it has to be at an edge. It has to be at his advantage of some type of handicap, you know, and the handicap is age. Age will catch you all. I've been saying that throughout my videos about this particular matter. You know, he can fight Julio Cesar Chavez because he knows that's an easier fight. I see that fight going just like, let's look at that fight. Let's look at Chavez Jr. and Canelo. Chavez Jr., what's his, what is his strengths? He can take a punch. He's a big boy. He can bang. He likes working to the body. What's his disadvantages? Cement feet, like Canelo. He's slow. He's not a fast fighter. He doesn't have much head movement. He's not disciplined. And, you know, he has a lot of, I don't know about his stamina. I don't know about his heart. I don't know about any of that, because I haven't seen that from Julio Cesar Chavez in a while. I mean, I know he just fought and won a decision. I forget the fighter's name. That's how insignificant it is at this point of time. You know, the point I'm trying to make is Julio Cesar Chavez has been off the scene for a while. You know, he was that guy that everyone clowned for quitting against Fonfora, and Fonfora dropped him, and then he quit. He quit on the stool. You know, so basically he did a Nicholas Walters. You know, a Roberto Duran, you know what I mean? And then, you know, but unfortunately he hadn't done the things that they've done in the sport of boxing. Yes, he almost retired Sergio Martinez, but Sergio Martinez beat him, put it this way, with handicaps. He had 2 bum knees. He wasn't any good after that. You know what I mean? So that was Sergio Martinez's exit fight, you know, to seal his greatness by beating one of the father's sons, one of the legend's sons, put it that way, because Chavez Jr. is no legend, you know. So, you know, but look at Canelo Alvarez. You know, he has feints, he has good speed, he has good boxing ability, he has cement feet, he has a good chin, he's never been down, you know. And he has good boxing combination. I mean, I want to see it, but I see that fight going just like Angulo. Canelo putting a whooping, and that's going to be a whooping, man. The Canelo is going to beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. like a redheaded stepchild, like he had the damn red hair. That's going to happen in that fight. And it's going to happen because it's an easy fight to make. It's a low-risk fight. They're making Chavez Jr. lose all his damn weight. So, yeah, it's going to happen because it's at a handicap, you know? So, those tactics, man, are cowardly. You know, that's not a heroic tactic. Like, they wanted Golovkin to come from 160 to 155. They wanted a handicap. They wanted that advantage. Again, you know, this fight is no different. You know, and even when I seen that fight between Angulo looked starched. You know, and despite the 1 pound difference, because Canelo couldn't even make 154, so they negotiated. He didn't even try. He didn't even try to lose 1 pound. You know, but I see a fight happening like that, which makes Canelo Alvarez look a lot better than he is, because he has all these damn advantages. You know, and the advantages aren't his skill, aren't his boxing ability, aren't his speed, aren't his punch variety. It's going to be something that was negotiated outside the ring. And again, it makes me sick because Canelo Alvarez is a good enough fighter. He doesn't need any of these advantages, you know. So that's the problem with this particular fight. You know, with Golovkin, it could be this year, but it's all under what Golovkin does. They're waiting for Golovkin to either get beat or get old. They're hoping that he gets beat. They're hoping that Danny Jacobs stops him. They're hoping that Billy Joe Saunders upsets him. They're hoping these fights, so this fight can't happen. You know what I'm saying? These are the type of tactics that happen, you know, that stops these type of fights from ever taking place. But Gennady Golovkin is probably more than likely going to keep doing what he's been doing, winning, you know. And I can't wait for the Danny Jacobs fight, and that's another fight that I'm going to talk about, you know, in another video. Not right now. Back to these two guys. Yeah, I see a duplication of a drenched, starched, slower fighter, and Canelo's just going to put a whooping on him, you know. And unless Chavez, despite the weight disadvantage that he's going to have to drop weight, can hurt Canelo Alvarez, you know, and, you know, who knows? But I see that fight happening. I see that, you know, that negotiations, they haven't started for no reason. It's going to happen, and that's going to be Canelo's next fight, you know. And, you know, it's probably going to be on Cinco de Mayo, you know. On the business standpoint you know, Chavez Jr., he does have the name, okay, has the name of a legend, of a Mexican legend superstar in the sport of boxing. So, that fight, I see that fight happening, you know, and it will sell because it's two Mexicans. It's gonna sell out. It should be in Texas Stadium or, you know, Mexico City. They could host that event since it's Mexican, you know, like Mexicans, like true Mexicans fighters, you know, not a Mexican American, not a Chicano, none of that, you know, but a Mexican, you know. So two Mexicans will fight each other, you know. And it can sell. And I already see De La Hoya gritting his teeth on the money that he's going to make from this fight. You know, but the quality of the fight won't be up to par. It's going to make Canelo Alvarez, again, look a lot better than he really is. You know, because Chavez Jr., he's just too big. He should really be fighting at, you know, light heavy. If Chavez Jr. wanted to do anything, he should go take on Kovalev, Andre Ward, guys like that. You know, he's trying to come down and still fight guys like Golovkin and people like that. And he's made statements that he wants to fight these guys. But honestly, he's just too big. His bone structure, he's too tall, he's too big. He's a big boy, you know. So those fights, I don't see those fights happening. You know, those fights are going to just really, you know, fall to the wayside because he's not going to even make weight. That's if he can make 164 pounds. So that's a lot of ifs in this equation. So I see Canelo winning easily. And I see a prolonging Golovkin fight. You know, it prolongs that fight even more. You know, and but will it sell? Yes, it will sell. Will it be an exciting fight? Yeah, I like to see Canelo put together combinations because that's all you're going to see all night until someone drops or someone stops. So, this is me, Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and you've been counterpunched. Peace.